The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, North Cassia-Burley Fire Department, on your new apparatus, job number 29807. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment. Let's get started on a brief orientation. Starting at the front bumper, you'll find a detachable front winch. Located just to the right and left of the winch, you'll find just under the bumper open-ended tow hooks. Moving up onto the bumper, your mechanical siren. Moving to the driver's side, an electronic siren. Moving just on top of the bumper, you'll find a tubbed storage location for your front bumper hose. You'll also find an 1.5-inch swivel discharge port. Moving up onto the body, your headlight cluster including high and low beams and turn indicator. Located in the center, emergency warning lights. Up onto the top of the fender, you'll find dual air horns on the right and left. Generalized view here of the side of the apparatus just to get a perspective of where things are located. Let's cover those things on a close-up version. Those are the tow hooks located on the right and left of the winch. Located in the center of the winch, you'll find a couple of warning and hazard labels attached to your winch. Please be familiar with those. On the right side of the winch, you'll find your engaged and spool level. Moving up to the top, you'll find the plug-in for your electrical. Down at the very bottom, this is the main power for the winch. There is a 9,000 pound rated capacity on that front winch. This is your mechanical siren. The opposite side, your electronic siren. Located onto the top of the bumper, this is that tubbed storage location for hose storage. Your 1.5-inch swivel front discharge capable of foam. Once again, tub storage with Velcro securing straps. Located up onto the grill, we'll find dual red emergency warning lights. Up onto the headlight cluster, you'll find the headlight in addition with the turn indicator. Moving up onto the top of the fender, you'll find the dual air horns on the right and left side. On the driver's side, you'll also find an air intake. Moving down onto the back side of the fenders, you'll find a turn indicator. Just beneath that turn indicator, you'll find the latch for unlocking or unlatching the hood system. Simply unlatch the hood system. Once you've done both the right and left side, reach to the very center, just above the logo, you'll find this pull handle location to tilt the hood forward. Once tilted forward, the safeties will catch, allowing the hood to remain in the open position. You'll find your oil in yellow, transmission in red. As we move further in, you'll find additional fluid capacities for your radiator, windshield wiper fluid, power steering, and also at the very base you can see the windshield wiper fluid. At the very top you'll find push on, push off lighting. Generalized view here of the side of the apparatus. Here is a section of the rear, and then we'll go ahead and cover the passenger side and front cab next. Let's go ahead and start on the driver's side of the vehicle. Down at the step area, you'll find a air chuck inlet. Next to that air chuck, you'll find your auto eject shore power. Just beneath that, you'll find your DEF, which is the blue cap. And all the way down on the right, you'll find a positive battery termination point. Let's take a look at some close-ups here.
Once again, on the left, your air inlet, shore inlet. This is a 20 amp auto eject plug. Moving just down from that location and slightly to the right of the step, you'll find a positive battery connection point with a cap located on it. Moving just forward of this location near the front tire, you'll find the DEF fill location. This is a blue cap, 4.5 US gallons. Slightly above that cap for the DEF, you'll find an additional fuse box behind this cover plate with the 2 yellow release pins. Moving just up onto the body itself, you'll find 2 step lights. Moving down below, you'll find additional step lights and also perimeter lighting underneath the step itself. Located back onto the top where the hose reel is located, you'll find your reel rewind push button. Generalized view here of the side of the cab. You have dual grab handles for the front and rear. There is also locking door latches. Moving up onto the top of the mirror, you'll find a convexed portion on the lower half of the mirror, and on the top half you'll find a flat section of the mirror. And moving all the way to the top of the apparatus, on the roof of the apparatus, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. We'll now go ahead and cover some of the components within the compartments and also the pump panel. Let's first start in the midsection here. Behind this area of netting, you'll find your crosslays. As we look just up underneath the diamond plate where the actual labels for the crosslay are for yellow and white, you'll find additional lighting here. This is for crosslay number 1. It is in yellow and it is water and foam capable. Also in white, crosslay number 2, also foam and water capable. As we remove the netting, you'll find these speed loads can be easily removed, brought down to the ground, loaded at your discretion, and refitted back into the compartment area. Just to the right of this location here on the actual sidewall, you'll find, at the top, you'll find an 1.5 inch discharge port for each one of those. You'll also find your deluge discharge gauge and valve. We're going to go ahead and start on the upper left-hand corner of this section of the pump panel. You can see the discharge ports, 2.5 inch, they are currently capped. As we move further down from that location, you'll find your large diameter intake with the Eagle American flag Pierce logo. At the very bottom, you'll find your CAFs out. Moving just inward of that location, you'll find this access door, which we'll cover in just a few moments. You'll also find a 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet. Moving just up, you'll find additional warning and hazard labels regarding pressurized caps. And at the very base, your pump panel is fully enclosed. Let's move back up. This is the number 4 and number 2 discharge in green and orange. This is the number 1 and number 3 discharge, 2.5 inch. Number 1 and number 3 discharge gauges and also valves. Moving down to the large diameter intake. As we move just up from that location, you'll find your engine cooler drain. This is a twist, not a pull. Moving just to the right, you'll find additional warning labels here regarding only trained personnel should operate this equipment, and also a warning label regarding pressurized caps and associated hazards within that. To the left, you'll find the driver's side auxiliary inlet. Let's take a look behind this compartment access door. Once we gain access, you can see just inside, this is a relief valve port. This is uncapped and should not be capped. This is your CAF's air outlet down at the lower section. You also have a fully enclosed pump. Let's go ahead and move to the light section here. This is a telescoping floodlight. To access that floodlight, go ahead and turn the knurled section here, releasing it, allowing it to move upward or downward, tighten to put into position. Currently displayed in the upward position now. Underneath, you'll find folding wheel chocks. We'll talk about some of the compartments within this area here of the main section of your apparatus. First, let's start in the upper left-hand corner. You can see each of the compartments has LED lighting on both the right and left side. We'll talk now about the components within the pump panel area. Let's start on the upper left-hand corner. First, starting in this area, we'll talk about the Hercules CAFS system. Starting in the upper left, you have your pump engaged light. To the right of that, an audible warning speaker. In the blue section, this is your Hercules CAFS section. As we look, there is also a warning label here regarding the proper use of your CAFS system. You can see the high oil temp, air pressure, CAFS for compressor on and off, and manual auto. There's also a flow minder and also an audible alarm. Moving down from that, you'll find this automatic pump gauge heater. To the right of that, you'll find your foam select and reset switches with a digital readout. Moving down, you'll find your main control for your pump boss, starting in the upper left-hand corner with a check engine, a digital readout, and a stop engine. You have a menu and a silence button, in addition with gauges and a digital readout for your pressure and RPMs. In the upper left, you'll find the driver's side flood, passenger side flood, and compartment heater. Generalized view here, the top section of the pump panel will cover each of those components, starting with the left. This is going to be your Tank Vision Pro in A, foam, green. In the blue is the water. To the right is your pump intake and pump discharge. There is also informational plaque here regarding your Foam Pro specifications and system instructions. To the right of that, behind the flashlight area, you'll find your vacuum and pressure test ports. All of your main valves and also CAFS on-off switches. Crosslay number 1, as you can see here in yellow. Underneath that section of the valve, you'll find your CAFS discharge air supply valve. This is the on-off for that. Same thing with discharge or crosslay number 2 in white. Just beneath that in white, you'll also find the CAFS discharge air valve. Moving up, you also find the driver's side rear 2.5 inch. This also has the capability for CAFS and also foam. To the right, you'll find your reel blowdown and also the engine cooler. Those are both twists, not pulls. Generalized view here of the section of valves. To the lower left-hand side, we'll find at the very base the tank to pump and also the tank fill and recirculating line. Moving just underneath those, you'll also find your electronic valve for the intake. Once again, all of your valves are not only labeled and also color-coded to the discharge port and also to the valve itself. Let's go ahead and move down to the very bottom. As you can see, you have an electronic primer on the far left-hand side with an engine speed of approximately 1,000 RPMs for operating this for at least 1 minute. There's also the recirculating line. Once again, twist, not pull. And down at the very base, these are all the associated drains, which are labeled and color-coded. Let's go ahead and take a look at the entire side of the apparatus with the compartment doors open. As we move further down, just beneath this section here, you'll find your location for those wheel chocks, and you'll also find additional drains underneath the roll-up door, which is going to be for the main pump, drain, and also your front discharge. Looking in those compartments, you can see that there are adjustable shelving and also SCBA bottle storage locations. As you can see in the very front section, 2 shelves, once again adjustable, currently in a fixed position, and then bottle or SCBA storage in this area. Underneath this section in the front and to the rear of the wheel, you'll find additional bottle storage location. In the rear compartment, you'll find additional shelving. The top section of the shelving, as you can see in this image here, is adjustable, currently in a fixed position. As we move further down in this section here, you'll find a pull-out shelf. You can see the latch on the right-hand side is a mechanism to release this shelf to pull to the outward position. Simply depress the mechanism, allowing this shelf to be pulled to the outward position. To restore that, simply depress that latch one more time, releasing it to push back. The lower shelf here is also a pull-out style, different mechanism, black handle. Once that handle is depressed there, that will allow the mechanism to release that shelf to be able to pull out. Here's an image in its pulled out position. Just underneath this roll-up door, you'll find an additional access point if you choose. This is a maximum 9,000 pound allowable wrench rating. There is also power supply and also the section 2x2 for the winch installation. Generalized view here of the rear. There is also in the rear bumper area or just underneath, there is also winch capabilities here in addition with power supply. Moving to the left, you'll find your brake, turn, emergency, and backup lights. Generalized view here, you'll find some steps in addition with step lighting and also entanglement and hazard labels associated with that on the rear of the apparatus. Generalized view here of the rear of the apparatus. Let's break down some of the components within this area. First starting, you'll find at the very top you have a water tank level indicator. There is also a direct fill and also a rear discharge. When the roll-up compartment door is accessed, you'll find at the very bottom a pull-out shelf, which will extend. Same concept for releasing that mechanism on the right-hand side, allows that shelf to be drawn out. Located behind this section of the diamond plate, there are 2 latches here. Once this door is open, this is the general access for your ladders and also pike pole and folding ladder. This is going to be a 14-foot roof, a 24-foot extension ladder. This is also the location of your 10-foot folding ladder. And just above the section for the folding ladder, you'll find 2 additional pike poles in this area or long tool storage. Moving up from this location where your ladders are stored, you'll find dual reels. This is also the right and left reel for rewinding those reels. There is a push button located here. Moving up from that location into the center and sides of the apparatus, we'll talk about those next. First, on the left and right hand side behind this compartment, hose storage location and additional tool storage if you choose. Located directly in the center, lower section here, you'll find the possibility for long EMS storage, board storage. Your hose bed is fully covered with latches. Just above the latching mechanism, you'll find an additional access door for gaining for the water fill location for your main water tank. When those are open, you can see the tank on the right hand side, and also on the left you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge located here. Moving just forward of this location, you'll also find the foam A tank location, and also the components for your CAFS system. Back in the hose bed area on the right and left side, passenger and driver side, you'll find additional storage locations. When accessed, you'll find lighting within inside those storage locations. Let's now move to the rear of the apparatus. At the very top, you'll find an emergency warning light and also a rear-facing floodlight. Located in the center, you'll find a grab rail near the long storage location or EMS storage. Generalized side view of the passenger side of the vehicle will break down some of the components within these roll-up compartment doors next. Here's a generalized image here of all of your compartments in the open position. Let's first start with the left compartment here on the image in the rear. Once again, roll-up door, adjustable shelves here, currently in the fixed position. At the very base of this compartment, you'll also find a pull-out shelf mechanism on the right, down low to access and release that shelf to move outward. In the center, you'll find two adjustable compartments here, or shelves. They are currently in the fixed position, and just beneath that, in the rear area, you'll find once again an access attachment point for a winch with also 12-volt power. Located just to the front and rear of the wheels, you'll find a side-facing emergency light and also access door for bottle storage. There's also one to the very front of the wheel section here in the rear. Let's go ahead and move just forward of this location to this long compartment here. You can see that there are a variety of different adjustable shelves here and pullouts. Let's talk about those. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner. First, this is your auto charging system and also your air compressor in the upper right-hand corner. Moving down from that location, you'll find here there are two black levers allowing you to push together or toward each other, allowing this door to, or this mechanism to pull out and tilt downward for easy equipment access. As we look to the next set of shelves, you'll find two shelves. Latching is slightly different on these as far as the mechanism. On the right-hand side of each of those shelves, you'll find a push-down lever to release those shelves. Same mechanism on the very bottom of the shelf, on the very lower portion shelf. Also located just forward of that, you'll find a full tool board pull-out. Once that tool board is in the pulled out position, you can mount tools on both the front and the rear of this tool board. Let's go ahead and move to the side compartments here. Let's first talk about this compartment. Same compartment on the opposite side. This is your cross-lay storage for the passenger side. Same access point for accessing those. Also down in the lower left-hand side of this compartment, you'll find additional discharges and pump components. First, let's start with the water strainer in the upper right-hand corner. Moving behind the access door, this is going to be your foam drain. Once again, this is a twist, not a pull. Down in the lower section, the Eagle American Flag Pierce logo. This is your large diameter intake. To the left of that, you'll find your passenger side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch auxiliary inlet. Just beneath that, you'll find the number 4 and number 2 discharge drains and also the water strainer drain. The water strainer drain is a twist, not a pull. Generalized view of the side of the apparatus. Let's break down some of the components in this area. First, starting in the lower left corner, underneath perimeter lighting. Up from that, the large tank is your diesel tank silver cap. Moving forward of that, battery location in addition with step lighting. Generalized view of the side of the apparatus. We're going to go ahead and go to the driver's section door. This is going to be your red turn on, turn off battery switch. Also in the yellow is your manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing. This gives the information for job number, year of manufactured, and a variety of different information here regarding your apparatus. Down the lower section, you'll find your mechanical siren, brake pedal, and throttle. Upper left-hand corner, about knee location, right knee, you'll find your engine and transmission discharge ports. Generalized view here of the section in the middle of the apparatus between the passenger and driver. We'll break down the components here. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner. You'll find first this Pierce informational display, currently in red. This is going to be your seatbelt information here, displaying in red if the seat is occupied but no one is belted, displaying in green if there is a person in the seat and they are currently belted. To the right of that, you'll find a tank vision. This is for your onboard water tank. Moving down from that, you'll find your traffic advisor for the rear and also your electronic siren and public announcement system. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Generalized view here of the front section of the cab. Let's first start in the upper left-hand corner with the climate control system. As you can see on the left, fan control, in the center, heat control, and then the function that you use for type of control for your system. Let's start in the upper left. This is your high idle, OK to indicator for the high idle. You have an on-off for PTO on your pump. You have an indicator for pump has been engaged and OK to pump. You also have a green indicator for pump and roll. The next section down, you have a exhaust brake and also a siren brake. Upper left-hand corner, we're starting with the emergency master. You have roof light, front warning, side warning, lower warning, and upper warning. There is also your floodlights for left, right. You also have a set for takedown lights and also two indicators, one door open in red and also low volts in red. Let's move down lower. You'll find your pull to apply the master parking brake and also push to release. To the right of that, your filter miner for your air system. Located between the operators and the driver's and passenger seat, you'll find two LED box lights. Overhead, you'll find a pull for your air horn. Located in the visor, you'll also find information here regarding your DPF and DEF. Located in the center, you'll have a red indicator light for door or compartment ajar and not to move the apparatus. Moving back to the rear section, you'll find two rear-facing SCBA seats in this location. Here's a close-up of those seats. This is going to be the driver's side seat rear compartment. Located in between both of these seats in the rear, you'll find a compartment with a roll-up door and also storage on top. Let's talk about what's inside this compartment. First, LED lighting to illuminate inside and additional two shelves for adjusting. We're now on the passenger side of the vehicle. Same configuration, SCBA seat on this side also. We're now up to the passenger seat front compartment. Let's talk a little bit about some of the components in this area. First, overhead, we'll find storage location and also your visor. In the center, work light and also the access for that pull for your air horn. On all points of entry of the doors, you'll find additional warning and hazard labels regarding the use of seat belts. In this section here of the door panel, on the very top of the door panel, you'll find your controls for your mirrors. And also just forward of this location, you'll find a sticker here from Pierce Manufacturing regarding the height 9 feet 7, length 30 feet 1 inch, gross vehicle weight rating at 20 tons. Congratulations, North Cassia-Burley Fire Department, on your new apparatus. If you have any questions in regards to this video or contents, please contact your Hughes Fire sales associate. This is job number 29807. Congratulations.